Okay, welcome everybody. I'm Alfred Lenoir Weber, and it's a great privilege to be here with the chief scientist and founder of C60 Evo, Chris Burris, and with the CEO, Patty Greer. Welcome all.
Thank you.
And as I said, I sent out the news, which at least I'm just holding it positive these days because C60 is what keeps me positive. And that is the headline was a daily news of 1 teaspoon of C60 Evo ESS60 has increased my mental focus and IQ. And I put here a URL where people watching this can enter it, and then they enter that code and they get all kinds of discounts. Patty will tell you the discount. And I'm just going to start with this anecdote and then I'll turn it over to you guys. But I just got to share this. This week, a housemate, an old friend from the UK, from Yorkshire, who we had not seen in 17 years, came to visit with his partner. And when he saw me, he said, "My God, Alfred, you look better than when I saw you. What are you doing?"
There's a testimonial.
And I said, and I know that is C60 Evo. And next month I'm going to be 80 just on the 24th.
Wow.
So that is my reflection. And next month I'm going to bring you all some news that is mind blowing. So my news is that I'm really moving. And anybody who's listening to this, I know the world is falling to pieces. I'm not identifying with that. My prophetic novel says in 2022 the timeline split. There's the organic Earth timeline, the vine line, and then this AI timeline. Don't go with that. It's falling to pieces. Go with the thing. And I'm just identifying with the ascending timeline. That's all. So that's my spiel. Over to you guys, Chris and Patty.
Well, the first thing I want to share is similar to yours is a testimonial. And this actually, I've got my wife and I have a personal trainer that we work with a couple of times a week. And he texted her the following: "Hey, Marisa, I just wanted to share with you and Chris. My mom was going to put her dog down because he no longer stands up or walks on his own. I gave her the C60 Evo formula and she gave it to him on Friday. So I got this early this week. This weekend, he is standing and walking the yard on his own. My mom is so happy. She wanted me to thank you guys."
Aww.
And
There
what I
you
love
go.
about pet testimonials like this, right? There's no placebo happening here, right? The dog isn't going, "Oh, I got that dropper full of that oil that tastes like bacon. And so today I'm going to have the mental fortitude to walk." No, either the dog feels better or the dog does not feel better and acts accordingly.
Right.
There you go.
We use the strongest oil that we sell, which is the organic extra virgin olive oil that we sell for humans, but we flavor it just slightly for the pets. The dogs get bacon flavor and the cats get salmon essence, which are all natural. But we found that I had some friends that have four dogs. One of them was really old and hobbling like me in the morning. So I said, "Oh, I wish I had some dog formula for you. You have to order it." But I've got a bottle of cat formula. It's got salmon in it. And they said, "Well, God, our dogs love salmon." So I gave it to them. And they had four dogs that were used to being able to lick the spoon when they were done with their morning C60 Evo because they swear by it. They do it every day. And so now the dogs got their own dropper into their food. And that old dog started walking better within 2 days. I couldn't believe the difference.
Wow. Yeah. So I just if it were up to me, it would there would be advertisements and public education. This is something that can really improve the quality of life for people out there. And so I'm just broadcasting it from the rooftops, and and just telling it. uh, uh, what is your experience, Chris? Are you broadening your advertising, or how do you get this out to the public aside from shows like this?
Well, let me first say that there might be some people in your audience who are going, what in the world are they talking? I mean, it sounds amazing, right? And Alfred's testimonials, awesome. Pet testimonials kind of prove no placebo effect and are also awesome, from taking a dog that's no longer standing or walking on its own, and thinking about putting it down to now it's, getting around in the backyard. What is this stuff? So for those of you who are watching, I'm holding up a model of a molecule. If you are just listening, imagine a soccer ball where the lines on the soccer ball represent the bonds between the carbon atoms. So you have a spherical molecule of 60 carbon atoms. This molecule was discovered in 1985 at Rice University here in Houston. And they discovered it in 85 and won a Nobel Prize for that discovery in 1996. So that's a short 11 years from actual discovery to being awarded the Nobel Prize. That molecule is amazing. It's got amazing industrial applications, and for industrial applications, it's called C60. They actually took some C60, they processed it to what we call ESS60, and threw it in a quote-unquote toxicity study. So for various reasons, the shapes on the soccer ball, they thought this molecule might be toxic. Instead of being toxic, the rats they gave really the C60 Evo Formula 2 lived 90% longer than the control group. That's the single longest longevity experimental result in history. And also, the rats given the C60 Evo formula died without tumors, as opposed to all of the control group. So we're talking about a cutting edge molecule. It's not on a lot of people's radars yet. And so you're right. Marketing is a big piece of what we're doing. And that's, we've partnered with Patty. She's coordinated getting us on shows like yours. She's convinced us to do a face serum, which is amazing. And that's what we're doing, is getting the product and the awareness of this original study, right? So we don't lead with the face serum. We could lead with the face serum. We could actually lead with, the testimonials related to the face serum. And there's a really nice story behind why that face serum even exists, driven entirely by Patty. But we lead with the research. Like, what is the research? And the research is these Wistar rats, given the C60 Evo formula, lived 90% longer than the control group, the single longest longevity experiment in human history.
Wow.
And they died without tumors, which is really rare for Wistar rats.
Yeah. A typical Wistar rat will live about 32 months, and they'll have a known amount of tumor in their body. So the longer they live, the more tumor mass they have in their body. Even though the C60 Evo rats lived out to 62 months, they didn't have any tumor.
Right. Now, let me ask you a question, and these are just the questions. During the 1990s, I happened to be the administrator at a community health center down in Brownsville, Texas, at the other end of the state in the lower Rio Grande Valley. It was an award-winning center. We had 90,000 patient encounters a year, and I oversaw 20 physicians and 120 nurses. And my recollection is that in Houston is a medical center. You have a lot of medical training facilities, etc. Have you and Patty and the other scientists thought about doing information seminars at the medical training seminars, such that you might get C60, ESS60 introduced into the diets of certain patients? I'm just throwing that out. Maybe you have. I'm just throwing that out as an idea, because I know when we were in the community health business, we were always thinking about that. What is something that our docs could prescribe? We had 90,000 patient encounters a year. What is something that we could have so that these 90,000 coming in, we would give them, so the 90,000 would go down to 10,000? So over to you.
Yeah, so I think that's a great idea, and I think, as with a lot of things that are new and cutting edge, you know, the medical community, and really kind of this falls into big pharma, really have a very conservative, or have an agenda that is probably different than our product. So I'm excited. I was at one of my son's soccer practices talking to a guy who's a physician, and he knows a physician who's working with glutathione, which is a really powerful antioxidant. And they're doing research on it. And so they're trying to make contact. Yes, we're trying to make contact with as many people as we can. We're doing sleep studies. We're moving through the process so that we can actually recreate that original rat study. I feel like, at least my impression of the typical supplement company is not a research-based company. You know, they're a profit-based company,
Right.
And they're not doing the research that they need to be doing. They're not reaching out and fostering relationships and getting things to be behind the scenes in a place where it's something that we could present to a strong medical community. You know, it's still at the point the FDA has not evaluated the product. It's not intended to treat, diagnose, cure, or prevent any disease. And so, yeah, they're going to be cutting edge.
Yeah, there'll be a problem there.
Yeah. And there's also, you know, it really has a parallel with the first people to take the product, right? So there are kind of an aggressive group of biohackers, and I think, I don't know that Patty would actually wear that label, but that's what she is. She's an aggressive biohacker who's like,
that's an interesting term. I'd never heard that term before. What do you think about that term?
I would say I'm an aggressive C60 Evoist, but I don't know about biohacker, because I don't think of it biologically. I think of it as, how does it make me feel? You know, I don't think scientifically, I think analytically. And for me, it's instant. When things work, I can tell. And with the condition I was in when I met Chris, it was stunning that I was alive. Alfred's known me 15 years. So, you know, both the incidents where my life was threatened real seriously. And it's incredible that in my late 60s, I have recovered this well. And, you know, there's days when I wake up and it's just hard to walk because, you know, I've had a pretty bad attack. But the waste up of me is so alive that it makes up for everything that's not working. And the company is so successful and so smooth to run because they've been doing this for 31 years. And so for them, it's just this beautiful autopilot. They've got this huge team of great young people that do all the shipping and packaging, and everything goes out looking like a Christmas gift. I mean, it's just so nice. And I don't have to worry about that or ordering bottle caps. You know, my part is the promotions. And since I'm such a blabbermouth on the air, and I'm only like you, Alfred, I talk about what I believe in. I don't read a script, neither do you. We speak from our heart. We talk about what we believe. And then Chris brings the science to back it up, if there is science to back it up. I get a little woo-woo. Alfred gets a little omniversical. By the way, my
apparently he gets a little smarter.
Yeah. I mean, you know, why not?
I do give it credit, C60 Evo, for mental clarity and thorough thinking more than ever before, because with all the distractions, like you said, Alfred, it's really hard to be focused, highly conscious, and effective. And I would say the three of us are those things easily. We just keep creating content. We keep creating product and doing something for the positiveness of the world, which I think is the most important thing we can do right now.
Yeah. Well, you know, Chris mentioned that you actually pioneered it going into the face cream part of the C60. Perhaps you could share that whole story and what the results are.
Love to. So, my little collection of props. Now I have a box that goes from my closet and it holds all our products. We have such a beautiful number of them. So, it started with C60 Evo, organic extra virgin olive oil, as super strong, super wonderful. And I was taking it every day. And most people that pour it on a spoon will spill, drip a little bit around the edge. So I would find myself, using it and rubbing it on my face. And within a few months, my skin started really improving. And I had some pretty rough skin after 50,000 miles on a Harley with no helmet, which I loved every minute. But started removing like the brown spots on my face and really smoothing a lot of my aging. So I asked the boys at the lab, I said, would you let me work with the formulators? Because I think we can use this and make a facial serum as long as it's safe to go out in the sun with C60 Evo on your face. So they did testing, we did testing, and then I met with a formulator that's actually written books on nature, natural foods. You take a hike with her, you can't get 30 feet in less than 15 minutes because she tells you every single plant, the benefits that it can be. And it's incredible when you get out in nature that almost everything is edible or smokable or boil the root or skin it and use it to build something. I mean, that's Brigitte Mars. And she started the formulation with me for the facial serum. And when I saw her, we're both the same age. I looked at her and I hadn't seen her in maybe 6 months. And I was like, what are you doing on your skin? Because you look 20 years younger. And she's madly in love also. That helps. So she said chia seed oil. And I had never heard of chia seed oil in a facial serum. Not that I've researched it, but it was a first. And I thought, wow, that's all you use. And she grinds it up and everything raw. So we started with chia seed oil. And by the end of my meeting with her, we ended with the essence of rosemary oil because it enhances your dreams. It takes your etheric mentality to a higher level, they say, in nature, that's part of the rosemary natural description of how it affects humans. So during the meantime, I went to the formulators that worked for the lab, and we came up with 21 natural, vegan, organic ingredients that work together really beautifully. And now we've got the C60 Evo advanced facial serum, and you just take it out, and it's got this wonderful little dropper that's curved at the end so you don't spill. And you squeeze a load of it onto your hand and rub it onto your face and your throat. And almost the very first morning, people notice, whoa. I noticed the first morning I got up and it was like, what? That was my only word. What? It's just such a smoothing. It was really quick. And we get a lot of testimonials from people that really love the serum. They don't say like, they say love. So I would say we got a special winner on that product. And then my mom, who's going to be 93 next month, said, yeah, well, the facial serum's great. It's as good as my highly expensive stuff. But what it did for my lips was incredible. And I thought, what's that? She said, I've had this condition for years. And finally, I don't. And it was because of your lip balm. Well, I had to call the guys again and say, hey, can we do a lip balm? And they were wonderful to follow through. It's infused with ESS60, this mega antioxidant going on your lips. Lasts forever. And the mint is really yummy. You can smell it. You can taste it. It's really hard to not keep tasting it because it's pretty yummy. But it makes a lovely lip balm. We also have unscented. But these are the lineup of our products. And they all kind of came through a series with each other. We also have avocado oil and MCT coconut oil, which all of them hold a different level of concentration of ESS60. And ESS60, Chris will talk about the difference between C60 and the formula that we use is ESS60, higher quality. But no matter how much you put in it, Chris is going to show you how to take it and how incredibly more handsome he is 5 minutes after taking it. Vogue.
It is a high quality extra virgin olive oil, so it will leave a peppery flavor at the back of your throat. And that's one of, well, we have really kind of the only thing negative people say is I don't like the peppery flavor. And we have a solution for that. It's called capsules. And the other is, when you start, the typical serving size is 5 mils or 1 teaspoon. When you start adding that to your diet, your system gets lubricated, shall we say, and that usually lasts 3-4 days or something, and then you're all back to normal. Your body's just not used to processing that much fat.
So I'm hooked on the MCT coconut oil after 2 years of olive oil, because it is the strongest. It holds the most C60 pure powder, 0.8 milligrams per milliliters. The avocado holds 0.6 to 0.65. But the MCT coconut, which I'm hooked on now, only holds 0.35 or 0.3 milligrams per milliliters of the ESS60. And so I take twice as much. And, a lot of people that sell it, that promote it, really need to let the public know it holds less than half of the bump that you're going to get of energy, of sleep, of noticeable benefits. So you're going to want to take twice as much of the coconut oil as you would of the olive oil to get the same amount. And I'm really proud to tell people that, because it does cost twice as much. But oh my God, in your morning coffee, it is so good. And I never forget a day, because I wake up and I make my swimming pool of coffee in a large mug. And the ESS60 is the last ingredient to go in with my frothed whipping cream and my local honey and my ghee and cinnamon, lots of cinnamon. So it's a silver bullet with ESS60 coconut oil. And all of a sudden now I smell coconut oil and coffee. It's the most delicious scent going through my skin. It's like going through my pores all day long. I smell it in my sinuses. And I hope it's not rude to say, when I use the restroom, I smell it leave me. So I think I've really inundated my body with MCT coconut oil, because I smell it everywhere. And I think it's a great thing. I call it, like Chris was saying, it lubricates my entire system. And I think it's just been a dream. Plus I'm sleeping smoother than I was with the olive oil. So again, just a personal testimonial. But once you try the MCT coconut in your morning coffee, you'll never go back.
And you're feeling lubricated. Just let me interject. Reminded me of the testimonial we've got from our dentist. He started taking the product and put together a little video for us. And he shared that I feel like the Tin Man from The Wizard of Oz, except after he was oiled.
Oh.
It's like, that's just that's a great
story. One of the commenters in the chat has an interesting question. He says, if people are allergic to sulfa drugs, is C60 safe for those people to ingest?
I'm not aware of any studies related to that. It really is carbon. It's 100% carbon. It's the perfect carbon molecule. So that would surprise me. We've literally, from our tens of thousands, 28,000 customers, have never received a negative complaint. And I'm sure that there's some people who are out there. Now, having said that, it is always wisest to consult your physician.
And most of them have probably not heard of C60. When Chris said cutting edge, it really is. It's like CBD 10 years ago, 7 years ago. Who trusted CBD? People thought, oh, that's pot. Oh, that's an illegal drug. And it's not. It's CBD made from, I think, hemp plants, and it's pure healing remedy. But again, is healing allowed in America or Canada? I don't know.
Well, he says, thank you for answering the question. Now, Chris, I was having a conversation with a colleague who is very science oriented, and so we got talking back and forth. It turned out that both of us knew Buckminster Fuller.
Oh wow, awesome!
So yeah, we're both scientifically oriented, and so I said, well, look, the positive effect, and I was using my guesstimeter, okay? And so we're saying, and he was saying, where does the 187 times greater an antioxidant than vitamin C? Says, where does the antioxidant effect coming from? Well, so I started talking and I said, well, you have to look at the fullerene molecule. And I've been in conversations with others. And I say, imagine that fullerene molecule coursing through your body, coursing through your blood. And so there's much more, there's much more flow, and that's, part of the flow. And so we both started expanding on that hypothesis, okay? Trying to look at, because there's so little literature, and those of us who are scientifically hungry for hypotheses and data as to the beneficial effects of the fullerene molecule, things that will 50 years from now, they'll go, oh, why didn't those guys know about this? Do you have any speculations, hypothetically, as to why all of us are all of a sudden, 187 more, the rats are having 90% more life expectancy. We're having all these IQ, expansions. I just wrote a book that said it was #1 on Amazon on the physics of time. Me, I wrote that.
Wow.
Congratulations.
The last 2 months. I mean, that's something, man.
Yeah.
So I mean, and so I was coming back with him, and what we lighted on is the fullerene molecule is going through our minds, is going through our brains, going through our capillaries, our neurons. What do you think?
Yeah, well, it certainly is doing those things. So some of the stuff that we know, well, let's talk about kind of the first phase of understanding, which is, hey, these Wistar rats live 90% longer. Why might this ESS60 molecule have helped in that? And current medical thought about aging is that it's an inflammation and an oxidation process, right? So it's not surprising our product kind of ticks 2 of those categories, and I have to be very clear about those. First, in terms of antioxidants, there's peer-reviewed published research that shows it to be 125 times more powerful than vitamin C. There's ad hoc studies that are out there on the internet that show it to be 172 times more powerful than vitamin C. So you can check that oxidation antioxidant category. The next one is inflammation. And you have to be really careful at this point because the FDA has very concrete ideas about inflammation and how a discussion of inflammation is actually a discussion of disease, which you have to be very careful about until you've got the right human trials, which are extremely expensive. What they do allow us to say is that our product is beneficial, at least as it relates to exercise-related inflammation. So we've all had a workout or maybe walk longer than normal, and in our bodies, we just feel that inflammation in our bodies. So we certainly have a positive impact there. The next one is what the FDA doesn't allow us to say, whether it's true or not at this point, is that it positively impacts other parts of inflammation, right? So disease-related inflammation. I like to finish this and say our product fits perfectly well in the anti-inflammatory diet. That's a diet associated with the blue zone people. These are people who live longer, have reduced incidences of stroke, have reduced incidences of heart attacks. And yes, we fit in that anti-inflammatory diet. So that's kind of phase 1. The next phase, and ultimately, it is true that scientists much smarter than me are going to figure this out, and with a lot more biological expertise are going to figure this out. We do know that this ESS60 molecule gets in the mitochondria, and that's the powerhouse of every cell in our body, and it gets in there into the mitochondria and participates in the process of making ATP. We don't know exactly what it's doing, but we know it's there. And typically, if you had a room full of medical mitochondrial experts, and you said, hey, would it be good to have a free radical sponge? And let's just pause for a second there. When it was first discovered, it was realized that this molecule, this ESS60 molecule, is a really good electron holder. It's one of the reasons that batteries can be made out of it. It's too expensive. It's actually fairly cost competitive with lithium. So we might see Bucky batteries at some point. And who wouldn't want a Bucky battery? The name is just pretty awesome. But it can hold 6 electrons on it. So that's 6 negatively charged particles. Well, it turns out oxidation, is a reactive oxygen species. They're negatively charged particles. And in fact, this buckyball, this ESS60 molecule, can hold 6 of them. And it's a slightly different interaction with the ESS60 molecule versus, like a vitamin C or any sort of other antioxidant. The reaction is different. And so that's really important. And I lost my train of thought.
Well, you were moving through why the buckyball is important in these various processes.
Yes. So the room of mitochondrial physicians, they've all raised their hand. They've all said that, yes, a free radical sponge would be good in the mitochondria. And lo and behold, guess what we have? We have this ESS60 molecule, which can hold 6 of those free radical bastards that are typically going throughout our body and causing oxidation. And so is that, what does that exact mechanism look like? Is it that simple? We'll find out. Like that information will be had. And like I said, it will be from scientists who are smarter and specifically more knowledgeable in cellular biology than me.
Yeah. Well, sorry, go ahead.
For the layperson, it just means like a sponge going through you, sucking up the toxins.
The bad stuff.
Right. So, I feel that there should be like a journalist who's sitting at the sidelines writing this developing story, which at one point will be a movie or something, or like a series, the life of the fullerene, and then you have like real life going by, and then here's the track of the fullerene molecule starting in 1985, and it goes through, and then you have real life over here, and then you have the rats over here, and then all of a sudden over here you're going to end up with humans having 200-year lifespans, and it was all due to this fullerene molecule that started in 1985. What do you think? Is that too far out?
I love it. I certainly would love to be the person who's 200 years old, because I have a sneaking suspicion that getting to 200 years from this point means that you're very much in line with how rapidly the medical community is changing and the likelihood of living forever.
Whoa. Well, on that note, folks, to bring this discussion back to Earth, I'm going to ask you to look here. And if what you've heard here doesn't inspire you, look, go to c60evo.com. Go to this website here. And Patty, tell them what they have to do.
You don't have to do anything, but if you want to treat yourself well, or buy a gift, perhaps Mother's Day, or for somebody you care about, your pets, your friends. We have 3 different oils, and you might want to try them all. Chris loves the coconut oil in his morning coffee, the avocado oil in his salad, and the olive oil anytime, because it really gives you an immediate boost. And if you buy more than 1 item at a time, we discount it 15%. It's called a sampler set. And we have them in 2-ounce littles or 4-ounce, which is a really nice size. You can get them for 15% off. Anything you buy in a dozen quantity, a case, you'll get 25% off. So a lot of people will buy a case with 2 or 3 people, and you just have a little bit of a stash and you have a nice discount. If you don't like the taste of oil, we have the capsules. And everything comes in just the capsules, or the capsules plus the facial serum, called Inside and Out Set, and also Inside Out and Lips. You can try every product. We do it with all the olive oils, the mixed sets, because olive oil is our most popular seller. The facial serum, absolutely incredible. Try it once, you'll be blown away. And anything you purchase, if you buy it on a subscription, which means monthly, we send it to you, you get 20% off every order. And if you don't love it, you can call us or write us and we'll cancel right away. So no big obligation, but 20% discount. So when you first look at the prices, you might think, oh gosh, that seems expensive. And then you realize the benefits and you go, bargain. But then you get 20% off here, 15% off there. You buy it monthly, you save. But also, if you do Alfred's secret code, which is EV for Evo, ALW for Alfred Lambermont Weber, you'll get another 10% off at checkout. So good idea to take a look at the website, but keep in mind Alfred's code, or just tap his link and it'll automatically support his channel and his work and give you a discount. So we look forward to taking care of you. We sell all over the world, Canada every day. And Alfred's in Canada, Chris is in Texas, I'm in Colorado. And we welcome you. This last week, I think we sold to South Africa. I saw something in Singapore. So, people are hearing about the products, but the difference between C60, which a lot of people sell, and then ESS60 is basically like Target or Saks Fifth Avenue. Not that that's,
I would say Home Depot, or actually Home Depot is a little more elevated. I would say more like an Ace hardware store, right? Because one of them is for industrial applications like Ace, and the other one is actually processed for human consumption. So, do you want to buy the product at Ace Hardware or at, I don't know, GNC?
It's so funny how men and women look at things so differently. It's Ace is the place with a happy hardware man. I know the song. But they have beautiful plants. And anyway, what we're saying is there's a big difference between industrial grade C60 and really pure edible, guaranteed to be safe for human consumption, which is ESS60. And you want to look for that differentiation, because it is the difference between, you don't know where it's from, Wuhan, China, some of the C60 on the market, and then ESS60 made here in America in our proud patriot Texas lab. And everything's been made there for 31 years with integrity. We've been selling to research institutions around the world, and people like Alfred are getting younger every day. I am somehow feeling like I'm even getting younger every day. Chris, of course, he's a baby face. But he's also the wizard that's got the whip that cracks, that keeps that lab going and products going out to all of you around the world. So we're super grateful, Alfred, for bringing us on your show, for sharing your audience with us, and always glad to see you looking better and better every time.
Oh, well, thank you. And Chris, do you have any words for our audience here?
No, I think maybe there's one thing we didn't share, which is the most consistent testimonial. Maybe I shared it, but it's worth sharing again. Most people take the product in the morning. They report mental focus and energy during the day, and then better sleep that night. And I'm not aware of anything on the market that you take in the morning and positively impacts your sleep. So it's a very unique product. And I'm just lucky to be out here sharing the research and listening to people's testimonials about the benefits they're getting.
Oh, well, it's such a joy when we have our panel, because for me, it just reinforces something that I know when every day in the morning, I take that teaspoons, that little teaspoon in the morning. Today, I took it right before I tackled a really difficult set of journalistic articles that are going to blast the ET world wide open. But, that's what you do when you want to do something, right?
That's right.
Anyway.
When you're pushing 80.
Thank you so much. Okay.
Thank you for having us, Alfred.
Oh, totally. And don't go away. So thank you, audience.
Thank you.